deadline, and when will they? Can anyone? Dr. Smith? Oh, thank you.
That project is actually still underway. Let's take the two schools that were mentioned. Pine Ridge is really one of the schools that was identified for the solar panel project to go into place. UCF, University of Central Florida, is also involved. There is a state grant. Actually, what has happened is that curriculum has been developed around solar energy that's being integrated into appropriate courses. And in terms of the solar panels being installed, that hasn't happened yet, that building part. There's rules and regulations that have to be attended to, and the money has to flow. We believe by the end of this school year that the solar panels will be in place. Now, this is also in conjunction with Progress Energy, UCF, Progress Energy, state funds, and there's a whole host of partners in this undertaking. On the east side of the county, we actually have a project in place at Henson Middle School, and there are actually 4 schools in this area on the west side that are part of this project. So it takes longer than we might have thought because of all of the different steps that have to be taken, the process itself, and what is outlined. But it will be just an exceptional opportunity for student learning, for energy savings, and for being pilots, for prototypes of what can happen. So we're really looking forward to the schools on the west side, and I believe it's Heritage. Some of the names are going out of my mind right now. There's an elementary school, there's a middle school, Pine Ridge High, and Taylor High, which isn't in the immediate area, but on the west side of the county, I believe, are the schools that are involved.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Smith. So I think I've hit one for you. Okay.
Okay.
But there has been some discussion about it already tonight, but I'm going to bring it back again. It says, have we thought about regional development along with Orange City and DeBary so we could all work together rather than going at it individually and competing with each city for the businesses? That one?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. We do the economic development in terms of bringing businesses and recruiting on a county-wide basis. We do not look at any given city. We will support the efforts of Jerry or Deltona or the folks in Orange City or the folks in wherever, in DeLand or Daytona Beach for that matter. When it comes to economic development in Volusia County, we lock arms around the county line. And we don't let anybody, we try not to let anybody leave. And we're not particularly fussy about where they go. When we get inquiries from companies in Seminole County, we work with them in terms of determining, for instance, we want the zip codes of where all their employees live so we can determine commuting distances. They come over, they take a look at our whole area. They look at Deltona, they look at DeBary, Orange City. We're not fussy about where we show them. Ultimately, the decision is theirs. And we had recently, not too long ago, a company from Vermont that still has not made a final decision, but we ended up spending 2 days with the principal of that company, showing available sites in Volusia County, in Edgewater and in Orange City. There weren't any here in Deltona. There was one in DeLand that met their specs and one in Port Orange, for they didn't want to go any further north than that because of what they were looking at their workforce. We'll look at their workforce. We'll do an analysis for them of the kinds of people that they need and where they live. We've had companies that come and say, well, we want a certain percentage of Hispanics and Spanish-speaking people because that's the nature of the business of the work that we do. We'll put those statistics together, bring them and do that. So we truly do have a regional economic development approach to what is going on here. And we don't, as I said, we're not fussy about where it is as long as they're in Volusia County. And every company is different. We have a company that really should be probably somewhere up near Ormond Beach, but the principal's brother-in-law lives in DeBary, so guess what? That's where he wants to be in this area, within about a 20-minute drive of we're his brothers. We didn't have no way of knowing what the specifications are going to be, but we just sort of listen to them, and we do it that way. If they have the facilities, if we have them here, and we're working with Jerry in order to make that happen more in Deltona, to have more, quote, shovel-ready sites that we can bring the businesses to, then more of them will come to Deltona. But in the meantime, some of your neighbors are pretty competitive. I think that about does it.
That's good. Thanks, Bill. Okay, here is one that says, and Jerry, I think this is going to land on your desk again. It says, Deltona has not always been business friendly. Why should anyone want to open a business in Deltona as opposed to other municipal alternatives? And again, I know you've only been here since January, but I'm sorry you're getting all this tonight.
It's all right, that's my job.
Okay.
When I took the job in January, I realized that Deltona had a reputation, and it wasn't a good reputation. Deltona was known as being very unfriendly to business. It had been that way for a long time. I will say, since I've been in this job, actually prior to my coming into this job, the city commissioners and the city manager's office have worked very hard together to help change that image of Deltona. I'm not going to say it's 100% changed, because I still hear stories. But it's part of my job to investigate those stories, find out what the problem is, get it resolved, and get it taken care of. So as part of my job is building a happy face for Deltona. So when people look at Deltona, they say, okay, I can go to Deltona. It's getting better. It is getting better. I have builders telling me now, hey, I've never had less problems than I had when I came to Deltona. And this has been in the last year, year and a half, 2 years. It started before I took the job. It was already well underway, so I can't take credit for all of that. I'll take credit for everything I can get. But that being said, Deltona is putting on a better face for the business crowd. Pat, would you like to address a little bit into that? You also are a citizen of Deltona, even though you are with us from the county. And I think you could address this also.
Put you on the spot. Put you on the spot. You can't crawl under this table, I'm sorry.
I've been a Deltona resident since 1973. My husband and I raised our sons here. They went to public schools, graduated from Deltona High School, and one of them, I'm proud to say, is back in school at DSC. He finally got the message that hope, when they talked about hope, he hopes to get a better job. He knows he has to go back to school and do it. Deltona is a wonderful place to live. And we have had some issues over the years, particularly when you want to talk about development. We have kind of a fractured personality here. We're not quite sure what we want to be. And Jerry, you hit on it earlier when you have people who say, well, we're always going to be a residential city. My vision is bigger than that. I understand that we're a residential city, but we do need those restaurants. We do need those jobs. We do need to keep people on this side of the bridge. I worked across the bridge. I traveled 20 years over to the Orlando market, and I'm happy to say I'm back home now. Deltona did have a reputation as being a difficult place to develop and to build, but they've taken steps along with the help of county. I think that's really the important thing, is that I want you all to know, when Phil Ehlinger stands up here and says, we don't care where those jobs go, we just want to keep them in Volusia County, he is sincere. But he also works very closely with the professionals in each city. And there is a practitioners group that, Jerry, I believe you're a member of that, and Phil, you. So they're talking all the time. They're trying to figure out what it is that they need to do to get business here and to make us business friendly. Volusia County has looked at doing some impact fee reduction. We're hoping that that will help to stimulate the economy in the building and trades industry. I don't know if Deltona has decided to do anything with that, but we're
going to be reducing road impact fees, fire impact fees, and there's enough water, I think it's water, to help stimulate the economy. Those are the kinds of things that the county government is doing to try to make Volusia County business friendly, because the same complaints you hear about Deltona, you hear them about Volusia County too. We have streamlined our permitting process, and this is a good time to do it because the economy is not hopping right now, so you've got some time to restructure, and that's what Volusia County has done. We've restructured our growth and resource management department. We're making it simpler, we're reducing impact fees and regulations, and trying to become a very business-friendly county. I know that that's what Jerry is doing in Deltona, and I know that that's what they're doing across the county. So when that economy turns around, we are poised to move forward. Keep your fingers crossed.
Okay. The timekeeper tells me that we're out of question time, but I've got to, if I can, as a moderator, I've got to ask this question because I had it on about 3 different questions up here. And Dr. Smith, this goes to you. And these are all about education. It says, exactly what is being done to improve the quality of education and the grade of the schools in our area? A second question, right along that same line, says, what is the percentage of our students that graduate from high school, go to college, and what are we doing to increase that percentage to 100%? Okay? I had about 4 questions that were germane to that, okay? So we'll allow you the 3 minutes still.
We are working very hard every day with each and every one of our students to provide them quality instruction. We have very dedicated teachers. Our teachers are always involved in training and upgrading their skills and their knowledge so that they can work in the very best way with our students. You know, we have great successes in Volusia County schools. We have a high graduation rate. If you look at the graduation